Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to tackle was our reverse osmosis water system. A couple of years ago, we got a whole house filter, water softener RO system put in because our family, suffers from some eczema and the water here in the town is pretty hard. So we wanted to put in a system that softened the water, but also we didn't want to be drinking softened water, so we got an RO system as well. Now, an RO system is great until it doesn't work quite right. So the way it normally works is you get the water from underneath the sink, it goes through two filters, and then it goes into a pressurized holding tank. And that pressurized holding tank, guess what? Holds water at pressure until you open the faucet. And once you open the faucet, it goes through one more filter and then comes out of the faucet into your glass. Now, a normal system has water that comes out like this. That's a pretty good pressure. You can fill up a cup in like 5 seconds with that kind of pressure. That's the way it should be. But the problem was, ours started coming out like this. And it's really hard to fill up a cup, or even worse, a pot of like pasta water with any kind of speed when your water's coming out like a trickle. Anyway, that's the pressurized tank's job, is to force the water out with good pressure. Unfortunately, ours was not. So we called out the company to come out and fix it. They came out, they put in new filters, and they said, everything's looking good. And we went, okay. And then we started using it again and went, this is still not okay. So I Googled, what do I do when my RO system has low pressure? And I found that there may be a solution if you have a particular problem. It ended up being our problem. And that was with the pressure tank itself. Now, the first thing I did to fix it was I turned off the water underneath the sink. Now, our reverse osmosis system is not under the sink. It's in the basement. But our shutoff valve is under there. So first thing I did was I shut off the water, because you can't keep the water on and start taking things off and then it'll just get flooded. So turn off the water. Then I headed to the basement. Yours might just be underneath your sink, and that's okay. Now, our basement here is used for storage. We do not have a finished basement, so you're going to get to see all of the fun storage things that we have down here. Oh, yeah. And those cool stone walls from 1891. So anyway, here is our reverse osmosis system. You'll see that there's 3 filters, and the pressure tank is kind of sitting up here on just up there in the rafters. So the first thing that I did after turning off the water was I came down here. I took down this tank. Right now it's sitting in the ceiling. But there's 2 sides of the tank. There's the top and the bottom. On the top, you'll see that there's just a valve here. And on the bottom, here, I'll turn around. You can see on the bottom, there's a little nub up there. And I'll tell you what all those things are in a second. So first thing I did was I took it down and I unscrewed this valve. This is really easy. You can unscrew it with your hand. Just twist it off. Now, our tank was totally full of water, but we were getting no pressure. So first thing I did, like I said, I took it down, put it on the floor, took off that top valve, and then I took it up to the sink and I let it just empty itself. That's about 3 gallons of water, but it just trickles out. So it took about an hour just leaving it in the sink to let it empty. So it was totally empty. The next thing I did was what fixed the problem. On the bottom of the tank, up here, there's a little valve. I'm going to unscrew this little cap here. And I'll show you what that valve is. That's called a Schrader valve. You may recognize it. It looks like the one on your car tire or your bike tires. It has a little pin in the middle. Normally, if I were to press that little pin in, I'd get a lot of pressure coming out, because there's actually a bladder inside of the pressure tank. The bladder is on the bottom. It fills about the bottom third. Normally, that bladder needs to be kept at 5 to 7 psi of pressure. And that is what pushes the water out into your faucet and allows you to fill up a cup pretty quickly. Our problem was that bladder had deflated. So the easy solution is to get a $9 bike pump from Walmart. Literally took the bottom, pumped it like 6 times, checked it with one of those tire pressure sensor gauges, the little thing that pops out. Got to 7 psi, reattached everything, turned back the water, let the tank fill up again. The first time I opened the faucet upstairs, a lot of air came out. But after that, everything was repressurized, and I got a great flow of water, very nicely filtered. back the way it worked when we first got it installed. So if this has been helpful to you, I would love for you to give this a like, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when I get more videos uploaded, you'll be the first to know. And I hope this helps out, and good luck with all your home projects. I'll be adding more as I do more here. See you soon.